You are watching the Randy and Christa Show. I'm Randy Alvarez.
I'm Christa Orecchio. This is news that makes you healthier. And today we're talking about how to have energy all day long. We have my friend who is also a nutritionist, former soccer pro, Yuri Elkaim, coming on the show.
Where'd you meet him, by the way? You saw him lecture?
I know I met him at a conference for health people. Yeah, and then I've seen him at JJ's last couple of conferences.
JJ Virgin, right? Okay, we had her on the show.
We had JJ on the show. I'm really excited to share
She's
those.
a powerhouse.
She is a powerhouse. She's doing amazing things. She's got a new book coming out. Yeah.
That's good. You know, you surround yourself with these powerful nutritionists.
People who aren't afraid to make an impact, you know, who are going to make an impact no matter what, and they're driving forward. And so you're right. I mean, you have to surround yourself with positive people.
Our first guest, he's organized 7 pillars of health.
Yeah, so Yuri has this book, The All Day Energy Diet. He's going to go through his 7 pillars of health that are kind of unconventional, and some of those are obstacles to health. So let's see what he has to say. Yuri, welcome to the program.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Christa and Randy.
Now, we've invited you to the program to talk about this, your 7 foundational pillars of health. What are they?
Well, there's a number of them. Really, you know, I believe the 7 foundational pillars are really also the obstacles that stand in people's way of optimal health. So, you know, it's depends on how you want to look at them. But really, the first one is looking at the pH of your blood. If your blood is acidic, and this might be a little bit of a novel concept for a lot of people watching or listening, but if your blood is acidic, you're not going to have the energy and vitality that you want. In 1931, Otto Warburg won a Nobel Prize for being one of the first to discover that cancer cannot grow in an alkaline, oxygenated environment. It can only grow in an acidic environment. So if our blood is slightly acidic, and our blood should be slightly alkaline, it creates a feeding ground for disease. It also makes our blood sluggish, which renders oxygen delivery to our cells kind of useless. So if our blood is acidic, it becomes sluggish, and we feel sluggish as a result. So that's a big one that not a lot of people think about. And the good news is that can be rectified very easily by the right foods. Second is what I call eating too many energy vampires. So when I talk about energy, I really mean health, because energy and health are very synonymous. And I often find that people with low energy, or even just anybody with low energy is a warning sign that something inside is probably not going or working as well as it should. If you think about the last time you were sick, you probably didn't feel too energized. For women watching, if you've ever been pregnant, your body probably didn't feel too energized. And that's because there's stuff going on inside that is requiring repair, regeneration, and growth. So when we feel tired, that's a warning sign. So eating too many energy vampires, these are foods that literally suck the life out of us. These can take the form of caffeine, sugar, wheat, pretty much the standard American diet. That's a big one, that if people just kind of moved away from those, would naturally just almost by osmosis improve their health.
Well, and that helps, but that number 2 helps number 1, right? If you can get those foods out, then you stop acidifying the blood.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And it all, as you know, Chris, I mean, everything in the body nothing is independent of anything else. So you do one thing, everything else improves, or everything else worsens. The third thing is poor nutritional status. Essentially, the last stats I saw, the average North American eats less than 2 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. And the recommended is about 8 to 10. So if we're not getting, and add to that the fact that the nutritional status of most of the foods in our soils now is much less than it used to be. So we're getting less than 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. Those fruits and vegetables have fewer minerals and vitamins than they did 50 years ago. So it's no wonder so many people are walking around with nutritional deficiencies, which could be at the basis of basic things like food cravings, or more serious things like, more serious diseases. So nutrients are obviously very important for us. They're very, very important. If we don't get enough of them, then that becomes an issue. The fourth big pillar is digestion. Digestion is arguably the most labor-intense and energy-intense process in the body. if we eat a lot of foods that require heavy amounts of labor and energy to digest them, we're going to feel sluggish. And the majority of us don't eat and digest properly. We're not mindful with our food. So we're essentially just shoving food in our mouth. We're on the go, we're watching TV, we're in a stressed out state. And in that state, there cannot be digestion that takes place. It's actually impossible to digest food properly if you're in a sympathetic, stressed out state. So the simple act of being more mindful, of kind of relaxing a bit more, can make a huge difference in how you digest food. And that becomes a problem if you're not digesting, because undigested food particles can then get down into the intestinal tract, which can then irritate and inflame the gut lining, which can possibly lead to leaky gut, which can lead to allergies and autoimmune diseases and everything else. So it really starts with digestion. And it's really, really important and very often overlooked by a lot of people. Fifth is stress and adrenal burnout. So our bodies have not evolved biologically at all since we first walked the planet. And we live in a society and a world that has evolved exponentially. So we have technology at our fingertips now that allow us to have access to everything whenever we want. And that's a good thing, but it also can be a very stressful thing, where if we're getting constant phone calls and constant emails and constant demands, plus we're thinking about what we have to have for dinner and what we're going to feed the kids, and it's nonstop. And these two little walnuts that sit on top of our kidneys, the adrenal glands, can very easily burn out when this is a chronic thing over time, because they're the ones that pump out stress hormones to help us cope with stress. And I would venture to say that 90% of people in the Western world are suffering from some degree of adrenal fatigue. And unfortunately, the medical profession doesn't really see adrenal fatigue as a real issue. But as you know, Chris, I mean, it literally does show up on salivary hormone panels. You can see drops in cortisol. You can see differences in DHEA. So these are profound things that dramatically impact people's energy and vitality. And if your adrenals are burned out, most likely that's going to impact your thyroid. And if your thyroid is not functioning properly, you're going to feel even more sluggish. You're going to have a tougher time losing weight. And it's just, again, everything works synergistically in the body.
It's that traditional functional medicine
what's that?
triangle. It sounds like you're talking about the traditional, I call it kind of the traditional functional medicine triangle. It all starts in the digestive system, and then we have the adrenals and we have the thyroid. And really you have to always pay homage to all three at the same time.
Yeah.
So I want to stay on the adrenals for a second, because like you said, unfortunately it's not super recognized in traditional Western medicine. Doctors say it's all in your head, and so we're hoping with this show to bridge that gap and really have it be common and have it be mainstream. And one of the things that I remember you saying at a conference we were at together, as a former pro soccer player, you know, if you think of most people at the peak of their life with kids and work and everything, like you were like, the burnout rate is so fast. So how do you catch yourself before you get to that place? Do you talk about that in your book?
I think in what you just said, the key is catch yourself, because we're on such a fast treadmill, so many of us, that it's just wake up in the morning, go. We don't stop to reflect. We're not, as I just mentioned with eating, we're not even present with our food. We're eating while we're watching TV or while we're working. We don't even realize how much we've eaten. So, you know, it really is, and I catch myself doing this as well. Like, one of the things that I do throughout the day is, not all the time, but as often as I can, is I'll catch myself mid-afternoon when I'm kind of just in the thick of doing things, and I'll just say, stop. I'll just go sit down on the couch and I'll close my eyes for about 5 minutes and just meditate. And it's amazing how powerful that is in terms of energizing you and relieving a lot of the stress buildup that just kind of happens naturally as you go through your day. So I like to get people to think about energy through tranquility as opposed to stimulation. When you're constantly going, relying on caffeine and sugar for stimulants or as stimulants for energy, those are very short-term kind of jolts, and they kind of take you up and then you crash down, and then you seek more of them and you go up and down again. But if we look at things that are going to help to kind of balance our body, so that kind of yin and yang, where we have some degree of intensity, whether it be the way we work out or stuff like that. That has to be balanced out with more relaxation and tranquil times, whether that's meditation, gratitude journaling, yoga, spending time in nature, because otherwise it's just nonstop. The adrenals are constantly being demanded upon, and they can't keep up.
It's a great point. We need a paradigm shift as Western society where that stress response, we're used to seeing that as energy, and it's living in the right nervous system, feeling peace, and still being super productive. And to your credit, Yuri, every time I've ever been around you, you really model that. I know how busy you are, and you always seem really present. And I think Randy just decided he's going to start meditating, right? 5 minutes on the couch.
I meditate a little bit.
after this.
In my infrared sauna, I'm meditating. I just started again. I go in and out of the meditation. Okay,
right.
So lower your stress.
After,
That's number 5. What's number 6?
Okay.
So number 6 is exercise, but the proper kind of exercise. I think nowadays we're in a time crunched, time of life or whatever. But the big thing now in fitness is these insane sweat till you die type of workouts. And that's cool. I mean, they'll help you burn fat and they'll help you in the short term. But again, exercise is a form of stress. So if you're somebody who is living in the Western world, who's already under a certain amount of stress, and you do an hour and a half of intense workouts on top of that 7 days a week, that's a recipe for disaster. And I can say that firsthand experience because I played pro soccer up until I was 24, and my whole life before that was basically gearing myself up to play pro soccer. And what I quickly realized was that what separates the top pro players from those that are not the top, aside from skill and stuff like that, is their ability to recover. And that's why most athletes don't last past 35, because they've simply worn out and torn out their body with nonstop intense exercise.
So what is the exercise you recommend?
So it's really about intensity, but less duration. So I would recommend 3 times a week, about 20 to 30 minutes of intense exercise in the form of strength training. And this is really important, especially for women, lifting weights that only allow you 6 to 8 repetitions that will build strength, but not bulk. And that's very important for bone health, for metabolic purposes, for just staying lean and strong, really important. And for men, it's the same thing. In addition to that, you can
How many minutes of this?
You can look at 20 to 30. I mean, you can, if you set things up in a way where you're kind of doing a circuit, where you have, let's say, a big movements like a deadlift or squats, pull-ups, push-ups, lunge walks, you can do that all in a circuit fashion. So you're going from one to the next to the next. You're not wasting time. And that also serves as a cardio workout because you're huffing and puffing, because you're not allowing as much rest during that workout. Now, again, if you suffer from adrenal fatigue, maybe not the best protocol. You want to give yourself more rest between those exercises so you're not huffing and puffing as much. But the idea is intensity is important, but it's the duration and frequency which are the real killer. So 3 times a week is plenty for really significant results. But any more than that, you're going to start to kind of...
You were a pro soccer player. It seems like the soccer players are the best shaped guys, and you guys are doing these short bursts of sprints. And the worst shaped people are like these marathon runners that are kind of dragging and aged. And
yeah. Well, here's an example. So I was a goalie, and my only saving grace was that I got into pro soccer a little bit later than most other outfield players who normally come in their teens. But as a goalie, you can see goalies still to this day, like the American goalkeeper, Brad Friedel. He's 40 years old and he's still playing professionally. You will never find an outfield player at 40 years of age playing for the US national team or any pro team in a first division. And that's simply because goalkeepers by nature are short burst type of training. It's demand, recover, whereas an outfield player is a little bit more continuous. So if we compare a marathon runner who's nonstop go 3 hours of running to somebody who's sprint jog, the sprint jog is going to spend far less time training, get better results in far less time, and they're going to be able to last a lot longer.
That's great. It's a good metaphor just for life in general. When you're pushed to the limit, always build in those recovery days and don't max yourself out.
Absolutely.
So what's number 7?
So number 7 is it's actually a little bit outside the box, but I think it's really important, and it's having a passion and purpose in life. Because I think even if you have everything else taken care of, your clean diet, you're exercising properly, you're sleeping well, all this other stuff, if you can't stand what you do on a day-to-day basis, if you hate your job, if you have nothing to look forward to, if you have nothing that you're passionate about, none of that other stuff matters. On the flip side, you could have the least healthy diets, you could be one of the most unhealthy people in the world, but if you're driven by a compelling mission, that could arguably take you to amazing lengths in terms of your outlook on life, to your energy, to your health. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that you can't forego all of your health pursuing something, a big goal of yours. But I think leading a purpose-driven life is really important. And I think that it's really important to consider the things that you love to do, that you're naturally great at doing, and honoring you as an individual to be able to do more of that stuff on a day-to-day basis.
Now, we only have a few minutes left, but your book, they could get your book in bookstores.
Yes, the All-Day Energy Diets. It releases in bookstores September 23rd. And other than that, they can get it at alldayenergydiet.com.
Could you give us a summary of your the diet? Like what you like? Is it?
Yeah, so basically it's a 7-day energy reset where in 7 days I show you how to double your energy and help you lose up to 7 pounds. And yes, it's actually possible. We've helped thousands of people do that. And it's really about shifting away from a lot of the junk out there to moving to a way that helps you achieve these 7 foundational pillars that we just talked about. And essentially it's about alkalizing the blood, adding more plant-based foods in to reduce inflammation in the body and provide greater quality nutrition so that your body can function as it's supposed to, and at the same time allow its endocrine function or endocrine systems and hormones and stuff all to come back into a more balanced state so that you function and thrive as opposed to just survive.
So after that 7 days, then what's kind of the diet like? Are you fish, chicken, or kind of light on the meat?
It's really up to you. It's a very agnostic program. So it covers foundational principles that will work with a vegan or paleo diet or anywhere along that spectrum, because it really is about adopting more plant-based foods into your diet. And whether you want to be raw vegan and do that, that's completely up to you. Or if you want to be paleo and add in some high quality, good quality meats, you can totally do that. So the 7 days is really about showing the reader how they can quickly shift how they look and feel in 7 days. And then with the recipes that we've provided that are delicious and take less than 15 minutes to make, my goal is to show people that they can actually eat like this all the time. And it's not about following this for the end of their lives if they don't want to, but it's about adding elements of this into their lifestyle.
I love the comprehensive approach. I got to tell you, it's everything I'm about too. I'm curious, what are the top 3 supplements that you recommend or deficiencies?
Top 3 supplements. I'll give one from different categories. So I believe first and foremost is a good greens powder, just in terms of getting more alkalinity into the body. I've found for me, it's probably one of the best things that I do on a daily basis. It's a food base, so I don't know if it's really considered a supplement. Second, I would recommend a good digestive enzyme, just because most of us have destroyed digestive systems and we're not digesting food properly or secreting enough digestive enzymes. That's really going to help with the digestive function. And third is for those who suffer from like adrenal fatigue and need a little bit more endocrine support, I'd recommend maca. Maca is a beautiful Andean root vegetable, and it's got a lot of amazing healing benefits as an adaptogen to help the body deal with stress and kind of rebalance out some of those kind of worn out hormones.
Okay, good. This is good stuff. We are out of time. Christa, why don't you, any other questions you have? It's good stuff.
I have lots of other questions. I could talk to you all day about this.
And we're on this time frame, and this is one of those things we could interview literally all day. It's a big topic.
Congratulations. The alldayenergydiet.com, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
If somebody wants to hire you to speak, or do you offer individual coaching?
I moved away from individual coaching a few years ago just because my mission is to help 10 million people improve their health by 2018. So I realized I couldn't help 10 million individual people. So, but I do speaking, I do kind of, bigger events like that as well. And they can obviously, if someone is watching and wants to do that, they can reach out to us through our contacts at alldayenergydiet.com, and I'd be happy to look at it.
You have a newsletter they could sign up for?
Yeah, we've got a newsletter. We send out probably 3 to 4 emails a week with great advice on fitness, nutrition, health, inspiration, giving people hope that tomorrow can be better than today, because it can be, and to really empower people to learn how to fish as opposed to just giving them the fish all the time.
Okay, good.
Love your philosophy. Yuri.
Well, thank you for
Thanks.
coming on the show. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, Randy. Thank you. Thank you, Christa.
Great to see you. Thanks, Yuri.
You too.
It's good stuff. We were short on time, but I wanted to ask him about the questions about pH in your blood.
Yes.
This is something you know a lot about. So
Yeah.
help me understand that.
I like that he's starting his book off with pH. So pH stands for potential hydrogen, and it's basically the acid-alkaline balance of our blood. So our blood pH is 7.25 to 7.45 at all times. If it even goes 0.05 up or down a little bit, we would
It's like
die.
your body temperature.
We would die. No,
Okay.
it's not like your body temperature.
No, I mean where you
your
have...
body temperature can lower and raise,
Okay.
and it doesn't put you in danger.
Okay.
Okay. But I hear you. I mean, what you're trying to say.
Okay.
But
You make me feel bad again. You embarrass me in front of some of the viewers we have. No, I'm kidding. Okay, go ahead. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Randy.
Okay, this is your special
That is
water
highly
that
alkalized turmeric coconut water.
fights cancer cells.
It fights cancer, and that's basically, you guys, what we're talking about with pH. So cancer can't exist in a balanced state. And he was talking about a German physicist's research from the 20th century who really won 2 Nobel Prizes for his research about keeping the body in a balanced state as the single best way to avoid cancer or to prevent cancer,
So when
to keep healthy oxygenated cells.
So this is the part I'm not getting. So when he does the pH test your blood for pH. I've had a lot of tests. I've never had this pH test.
Okay.
What are you looking for? What's good? What's bad?
Well, if you're acid, if you are creating a consistent acidic environment within your body, and so I test pH of, not the pH of blood, I test the pH of urine and pH of saliva, and that says how hard is your body working to keep you alive, let alone maintain that very narrow window of pH. And so if you're acidic, your body has to maintain that blood pH. It's going to leach minerals from the bones, deliver it to the blood to maintain that. Now you get osteoporosis. This is a root cause of osteoporosis. And so do you see what's happening? And then even one of the 84 essential trace mineral deficiencies can cause this domino effect of negative responses within the body when you have a nutrient deficiency.
So sorry to interrupt, because I know some of you, see, you have a loyal fan base, we should mention. And when I interrupt you, they get really mad at me. They even write some really nasty comments.
I know,
but
no more nasty comments. You guys, he's trying.
I don't mind.
Yes.
Somebody even said they
No.
feel sorry for you that you have to work with.
See, that's just mean. That's just mean in this world of social media. Most of my tribe members are awesome and loving
I
and
know.
caring, and we're getting it. We're
A
getting our
couple
flow.
say
We're
nice
not doing
things,
a lot of
but
interrupting now.
I'm relying on you to help me understand this. And I'm still stuck on this. When somebody goes in and you do a saliva pH test or a urine pH test, okay, you can look at it and say you are acidic. Is that right? I mean, tell me what you're looking at.
Yeah. So we're looking to see the state they're living in. So let's talk about urine for a second. You can get these pH strips, and I have them print out a piece of paper, and if they wake up between 5 and 8 a.m., that counts, as I need to look at first morning urine and second morning urine.
It's a stream of urine?
It's a 2-second stream of urine.
Okay.
And you use different strips. I have gotten that question before. So let's say you wake up at 5 a.m., you urinate on a strip, and you record it anywhere from 5.0 to 8.0. Very acidic
And these
to very
strips
alkaline.
turn colors, kind of like those keto
They
sticks?
turn colors. They're either yellow is very acidic, and it moves to various shades of green. And then, so if the first morning urine should be more acidic, then you also have to test the second morning urine to see where that is, because it should be less acidic. The idea is the body collects acid out of the joints at night, so if you have joint pain, you've got to make sure you're sleeping well. When you dump that acid load with the first urine of the morning, then the second morning urine is a greater indicator of what your biochemistry is like throughout the day, what's happening throughout the day.
So when do you take that second test?
Anywhere between 5 and 8 a.m. Hopefully you urinate twice between that time frame.
Okay, so you get up at 6, you do that, you do it again at 11 a.m. maybe?
Well, no, I'd like you to do it before 8 a.m., before you start eating and drinking.
So like 2 hours later,
Yeah.
and that should be less acidic. And if it's not, what? You're in trouble?
If it's not, then there's something going on at night. You can kind of tell, okay, are you sleeping well? What's going on with the liver? Are you staying up too late? Is the body not removing acid? What's happening? Something's
Interesting.
off.
Okay.
So you can tell a lot about pH. And so, you start there, and then I have people.
You do this on everyone, by the way?
Pretty much everyone. It's detailed in my online program, my 3-month nutrition program. We're balancing pH, and we're dealing with the underlying causes of acidity, and everybody feels better when their pH it gets to a balanced state, because it's the only thing. So if you help the digestive system, then you improve your heart health, right? If you improve your immune system, you improve hormonal health. pH is the only tool that when you improve it, you improve everything all at the same time, every organ, every gland,
do you
every
improve
system.
Just eating right. Plant-based?
Sure, yeah, eating right, adding in more alkalizing foods, plant-based foods. We might add in, like Yuri was saying, greens powder. We add in things like daikon radish. I'm teaching people all these things. Ginger, turmeric. We're cleaning up the diet. And not that you have to get rid of, because clean animal protein is there's still acid, but it's still helpful. It's just finding that balance of eating, 70% alkaline, maybe 30% off the acid side, and don't eat the wrong types of acid foods. And so the system starts to balance, and if it doesn't, it's an indicator of a foreign invader within the body. So you have to drill down deeper. Like if you're doing everything quote unquote right and things don't shift, then we have to see, okay, where's the bad bacteria? Where's the parasite? Where's the active virus? Why are there heavy metals? And because, there's always an underlying issue if things aren't changing, but your lifestyle is changing.
Okay, good. Well, listen, as a recap here, where does somebody start then? So go to the store, get these strips. If you wanted to do it yourself?
Yeah, go to the store, get the strips, test yourself.
What does it say on the bottle?
It says pH hydron strips, and it's a little box.
You think I'm acidic?
Why
do I get the impression you think I'm acidic?
That's your own thing.
That's in my head?
Did I say you were acidic?
No, I said I get the impression.
Okay. Why?
Do you think I'm acidic?
What did I do to
Well,
make
just
you
tell
think
me.
you
No,
were
I know, but
acidic?
you can tell me. Do you think I'm acidic? Just say it.
I don't know if you're acidic, Randy. I don't follow you around.
I'm not saying do you know.
You always get a
I'm saying,
salad when
do
we
you
eat
think?
out.
No, but do you think I'm acidic? I'm not saying do you know. Obviously, you don't know.
I don't think. I think you might be slightly acidic, but I
Okay.
don't think you're too bad. I mean,
Well,
you look
thanks.
good, you feel good, you have more energy than anybody I know. So I think you're doing a lot of things right, and you got to
Okay.
give yourself more credit.
But we're going to do one of these tests on me, and then you're going to evaluate it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, we should have a whole thing of following you through and looking at all your labs, and then you have to, because we're on camera, we're doing this. You have to make all these changes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, you've been watching the Randy and Christa show. I'm Randy Alvarez.
I'm Christa Orecchio. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time.